And at 9 o'clock, we had our HPI and housing HPI numbers, and they came essentially back in line. And then we have CB consumer confidence. This morning or I should say this evening at 8 p.m., we have the Bank of Japan's Governor Ueda speaking. And the reason that is important is because over the weekend, was it Himono? It's one of the deputy governors of the Bank of Japan, spoke in front of the Japanese parliament and essentially said that that they would be aggressively fighting inflation in Japan. And anyone that's familiar with the Japanese or the yen carry trade, those alarms should be going off. Why? Well, in August of 2024, the yen carry trade started to unwind, and the Dow went down 3,000 points in one day. And we are in an environment right now where the yen is screaming right back up to, remember that price that we had up here where there was that massive 2.5% move in a single day? This is what we mean by Wall Street always gets its fill. The indices squeeze back up into their new all-time highs. It happened on a Friday. And if it's important, especially, I should clarify this. A high is not put in on a Friday and a Monday. Now, a low could be, the long side of the market is much different than the chop sideways to lower that we have inside of our markets. But if it's important and it happens on a Friday and a Monday at a high, it will retest. At the very least, it'll retest and go through it. But if it is going to be a resistance level, it'll retest to test it again. And so this is what's going to make this week very interesting, in that there's still a dollar strength trade going on. Now, right now, the correlation is actually turning very close to positive. But market participants know, it's common knowledge. We measure it every single day and keep track of it very, very closely. Right now, there's not a negative correlation. You can even make a case it's slightly positive. But most market participants perceive the US dollar as being inverse of the broad markets. And we are still technically going straight up in extensions. We're going straight down on the euro. Bank is going to be interesting as well, too. It is continuing to grind higher. And as long as it's inside of long setups, the indices will keep grinding higher as well, too. And then there's the VIX. As we went into the beginning of last week, we had this beach ball underwater moment on Monday. And then on Tuesday, we made new lows. And we were looking at that as being a bear trap at the beginning of last week, and acknowledging that there was room to squeeze back up into the unfilled gap, squeeze back up into the previous high, squeeze up until the VIX ran into its support level from its old contract lows to highs and broke a short. And we're still in shorts. There's no confirmation of our VIX long setup. It hasn't broken it yet, and that is also true. But Friday's highs to lows, the series of short setups that was leading the indices into this rally, this stream continues at emoneyaddict.com. The link is in the description. Join me there for tools and resources for learning measured move trading. I wrote the book on the measured move. Check out the hundreds of others that have learned trading plan development, pattern recognition, money management, and trading discipline with me to become the best, most confident trader that you can be.